Hello, let's test our audio. I can see
Hello,
that people are joining. Hello, Temi. Good afternoon.
afternoon over there and evening from Nigeria. How are you? Can you, Claudia?
Oh, no,
Can
I'm
you hear
fine,
me?
Temi. And you? Can you hear me properly?
Yes, I can. Exactly, I can hear you.
Perfect. Perfect. I'm just perfect. Now my audio is perfect. So let's start. I'm super delighted and happy to have Temitọpẹ here with us. Temitọpẹ is someone that I really admire on the IT area. I worked with her in 2020 a little bit. I'm Claudia Charro. I use it to be solutions architect, and I'm turning over to enterprise technologists very soon. And I've been on IT space for almost 20 years. And Temi Top is our guest, our international, very nice guest. She will introduce herself very, very soon. And I'm super happy to have you here. Temi Top is like an honor and a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, thank you very much. Can I speak my Portuguese a little bit? Português um pouquinho, right? Meu nome é Temitọpẹ Ọladokun, and now I'm switching to English. Okay, my name is Temitọpẹ Ọladokun, and I work for InBev as a AI developer. And recently, I got like another role to manage a particular project, an AI simulated project. And I met Claudia on one of our workshops at ABIMBEV when she came explaining about machine learning, the application of machine learning, how AWS, Amazon can come in and make our job easier. So that's how I met Claudia. And since then, we've actually hit this kind of friendship path, and we've been having a smooth sail in that area. Thank you, Claudia, for having me.
Thank you, Temi. And to start, we collected here some statistics and some information to use like a background today. Our idea today is to meet closely Temi Top, understand how she achieved the success she has nowadays, and what are the tips for those who want to be data scientists, AI/ML engineer, and all roles related to AI/ML, but especially for women. So we brought some statistics here. I brought some numbers from Stack Overflow developer survey from 2020, and we had 65,000 respondents of this survey last year, but only 7.6% were Hispanic or Latinos, like us here in Brazil, and only 4.5% were Black or African descent. So it's like a small portion, and our intention here is to encourage you, women, people of color, and everybody who is underrepresented on this kind of service to get the jobs of the future, like the gender global gap report says. So the global gender gap report from the last year, the previous year, they say that data science, AI/ML, data, and cloud computing are the job roles of the future. And as the job roles of the future, they are nowadays very male. So if we take on consideration, for example, cloud computing in general around the world, only 12% nowadays are women, and on data and AI/ML, only 26%. If we consider Brazil, for example, the number is even lower than the global one. So we have for Brazil only 5% of cloud computing job roles are for women, and only 20% of AI/ML roles are for women in Brazil, so it's even lower than the global one. And it's interesting, another number that the Global Gender Gap Report brings to us, that is, in data science, we have a talent pool of 31% of people prepared in the IT space are women that have skills to work with AI/ML. But in fact, only 25% of AI/ML roles are played by women. So we have a gap to be uh, a gap that requires work, and this is the reason behind why we have Temitọpẹ here, to show how she built her successful career and which type of knowledge and which tips she can share with us to help you on this journey of getting the jobs of the future. Thank you, Temi. If you can talk a little bit about your journey, about your history, how you get here, so it would be very nice. Thank you, Temi.
Okay. I usually tell people there's no story or there's no success without a story. And for me, what helped me was that I had people around me, I had mentors that could actually guide me, tell me, tailor my path to do. And that also helped me in not making wrong choices. So I will give credit to my mentors over here. So let me say my journey started after school. That was like 2013, 14, when I was like, what next after the certificate? And everybody has the certificate, first degree, everybody has like a bachelor's, everybody has masters. Then what next? So that was how I started AI. I started my journey, self-learn. I started picking up. I picked up a course on Coursera. Then it was Introduction to TensorFlow. Even though I don't use TensorFlow now, thumbs up to PyTouch. I use PyTouch now. So I started my journey with that course, and like that first course, I didn't even understand what I was doing. This knowledge where they say fake it till you make it. I won't say I used that narrative, but I was say I was just struggling along the line that okay, let me just keep listening to this course. With time, I will understand what it's all about. Then after that, I got this Facebook scholarship to learn deep learning. I got into that course. Although before then, I have like a little bit of knowledge on Java programming language. So I picked up that, and it was quite easy for me to pick up Python, because once you know a particular programming language, it's easy for you to diversify into any other one. So I picked up Python to learn along the line with Udacity and Facebook scholarship. I got that, and I finished like 5 projects. One major one was on classification, image classification. I fell in love with that, and that was how my journey started. Then after that, I continued my journey, started building projects, signed up with some guys, even though I wasn't an expert then. I joined some team. One thing I encourage people to do is that when you are in a particular environment, it doesn't matter your knowledge gap, just try to be productive. Join people. In the process of you solving a particular problem, you pick up new solutions and new way of working. That was what helped me. I made friends. I would say I have mentors among my colleagues as well that helped me, that uh, that guided my path on uh, on this journey. So I started that course. I started another competition, Intel competition, where we did something on sound, converting sound into speech and speech into sound, something like that. I joined some group of friends to solve that problem for Intel as well. So that's how my journey started. I won't say I have a smooth path, like, okay, this is what I wanted to do. I just made up my mind one day to say that I want to go in this path. And I had people guiding me, I had mentors, thumbs up to my mentors, my friends, family. The journey was not smooth because sometimes you can feel left alone, especially in this field of AI, that my friends are hanging out and you're home working all day trying to do research. But if you stay true to it, you'll get there one step at a time, one step at a time, and you get there. That's how I got here, Claudia.
Nice. Thank you, Temitọpẹ. And one question I have, what are the differences between the roles we
Yeah.
usually see on AI ML space? For example, the data scientist, the AI developer, engineer. What are the differences or similarities between those roles?
Okay. I would say every one of them is interwoven. Everything is like the distinct, the separation between all those roles are very, very little because without data, you can't do ML. Without ML, there's no data. In short, we even need data. If you look at the common pictures that people share, they'll say data. After that, you have like a Venn diagram, you have data. In it, you have the circle showing machine learning. In it, you have the one showing deep learning. And now a lot of things are coming up. People are coming up with amazing research. So I would say that every field is like the journey never ends in this field, especially is ever evolving, is changing, and is moving at a fast pace. So if you feel like you already know machine learning for yesterday, you are not there yet. In fact, with all my knowledge, I'm saying that okay, I already know machine learning, I know AI. I still took another course to learn machine learning and deep data science. So I would say is just sign once you get into this field of AI, ML, data science, just know you signed a contract with lifelong learning. You keep learning because things are ever changing, things are not the same, they are not static, they're dynamic. So you need to flow, if not, you become outdated or obsolete in your knowledge. That's just it. So there's no clear path. I would say that if you do this, this is it. It's just everything is just interwoven. So once you pick one, you can still up your game to move into machine learning. From machine learning, you can move into deep learning. So if you're on the journey of data science, you're on the right path.
You mentioned about signing a contract to always learn and learn for the rest of your life. And one thing that we have seen here in Brazil is a requirement for AI/ML careers of a formal academic graduation, for example, a master degree or a PhD. Is it something really a hard requirement, or have you seen some flexibility on that?
Okay. When you talk about that flexibility, I think I fall into that category because I'm still thinking of acquiring my master's and I'm here on this live show. So I would tell anybody that don't let your educational status stop you from achieving your dream because it doesn't matter. We have some master's degree holder that they are brainless. I will say that. I won't say that they are brainless because they don't know what they are doing. I will call them because anybody that does not solve a solution with your skill is still like you're not doing anything. So I will say that don't let your degree stop you from achieving what you want. Without degree, I don't have a master's, I don't have a PhD. Yes, I'm looking forward to having all those things, but don't think or don't wait till when you have that master because the masters might not even come in 2 years. Will you wait 2 years before you start achieving your dreams? No. Or will you wait 3 years? No, it doesn't make sense. So I just feel like just take your step, just start your journey, take baby steps. Don't take massive steps. Take it one step at a time. Sometimes if you stumble and fall, pick yourself up and keep going. The journey never ends until the last
Uh,
breath.
this is amazing because it really resonates to me. I was first graduated in education and I started working in IT without the graduation in IT area. And I love what you said about solving problems, finding the problems, step by step, experimenting and trying and failing and doing things to learn. And after like
Perspective.
5 years in IT area, I was able to do the graduation in IT and have like the formal education. And I really identify myself with what you just said. And another thing that is important, Temitop, for us to know is that nowadays we have like a bunch of technologies, names, and tools, and a lot of things that we think, oh my God, I need to learn all of this stuff at the same time. So I would like to know which methodologies or technologies would you recommend for us to start learning or to focus, because nowadays are hotter. What are the technologies or methodologies you would recommend?
Okay, for me, I'll use myself as a case study because I like using myself as an example before thinking of. I'll use this word. I like removing the log of wood from my eye before removing from someone else's own. So for me, what I did was that I learned Python. I told you that I started with Java when I was still taking like baby steps. Okay, I just want to be among people learning programming. I started with Java. Then when I saw the necessity of learning Python, I moved into Python. And I will tell you that even with Python, you don't. I'm still learning because recently, like last year, I discovered that there are some libraries that came out under Python, and you need to still up your skills. So anybody that said that I'm a master, I know everything, you are not there yet. So I would say that anybody starting this journey on data science should pick up Python first. When you learn Python, master the art of coding, data structure. Don't play with data structure because it's key, and it's something that if you kind of jump that process, sorry, it can actually bite you in the butt. So you need to just take that step, take it cool. It doesn't matter how long it takes, but just getting it right. So start with Python. I know there are other programming languages or other technologies, but I would just advise for new beginners to start with Python because of its simplicity, the community. You get a lot of people to help you if you have any problem. So just start with Python.
I agree, because I'm not an AIML person. I'm not specialized in AIML. And Python and pandas really saved my life many times because it's really friendly for people like me that is a regular developer, not like an AIML or a big data specialist. So I also like Python. If you want to start your journey on cloud computing as well, Python is a really good way to handle cloud computing integration and services. Nice. And talking a little bit, Temi, about diversity in our IT space, I'm really curious to understand, how have you seen women in IT in Nigeria and also on AI/ML space in general? I'm really curious to understand how is the reality for women in your country and in your market.
Okay, in my country, I would say there's already a change in paradigm. People are no more saying that women should be in the kitchen anymore. I think the narrative changed years back, and women are actually sitting at the table and not taking the back seats. So for the AI ML space, even though it's just a new field, it's just burgeoning and it's a new field that's just starting. So people are beginning to move into that. I have friends that are in that line as well, AI ML. They've started that career and they are making huge progress. In fact, they are making huge progress. And the tech space in Africa, let me say for Nigeria, I've not been to other African countries to see how it is, but I've read research papers and I've seen things online, and I can see that Africa is we are actually putting Africa on the map. We are putting Africa on the map. Nigeria is on the map. Things are happening. We have a lot of tech hubs in Nigeria. We have some in Yaba. We have some in our one major one in Yaba because I actually signed up for one. In short, two. One at Yaba CC Hub and Heide Hub. So there are different hubs in Nigeria where people come in to do stuff together, partner together, collaborate, and learn. Even AI community, because I actually partner with a community whereby we taught data science, AI Saturday. Yes. So we learned, we did that. And another community that I'll be partnering with, I won't tell you that. I will let you know later, Claudia. Then let me break the iceberg before the time. So I'll be partnering with another community to teach AI to younger generations in Africa because there's something I've learned so far is the more you give, the more you get. As you give, you will get more. Even though the only way to retain knowledge is not by ordering it, it's not by saving it in your wardrobe like certificate and stuff is by giving it out. In fact, the more you give it out, you discover there are gaps you need to fill and you need to up your skills. So I'm partnering with another community latest July, second half of the year, to teach Nigeria generation, the younger generation, teenagers and youths, AI. So fingers crossed on that. I won't share that news now. But I would say that
This
the
is
future
really
of
great.
AI and data science is making sense in Nigeria. Yeah.
I love what you just said about we learn more when we teach more. And I really agree because we think about what we are doing, we think about the concepts, how we should present the content. I really like it. And this group here, the FinTech, we created in early 2020 to try to share experiences and help women in Brazil to be more successful in IT scenario because we have a gap of 69% according to Global Gap report, and we are far from the the gender equity in many places, but especially in IT. So I really agree with you that mentoring people and helping people to get faster and to reach faster the places we are now is really
Mhm.
important for us because we feel more represented and for them that they can like save time following the best practices. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think at this stage, women, we need to encourage each other because the whole thing is like the building of the generation or the nation is on us. We need to help each other, build each other up, let everybody sit. There was an encounter I had with someone, and the person said that, "What is your long-term goal?" I said, "I would like to sit at the table." The guy said, "What do you mean by sitting at the table?" I said, "I don't want to take the back seat. I want to sit at the table where the decisions are made because we need more women at that stage. We need women fighting for us because if we don't have, don't get me wrong, I'm not a feminist, but I love when women take these positions. We need women because it's only a woman that understands what another woman is going through. It's only a woman that knows what it entails. In fact, I've seen women take the leadership role and do it well. So that's
Yes,
another
I
thing
agree.
that if
I
people,
totally agree.
policymakers on this meeting, they need to take note of that. Women.
Let me do a very fast pause to say if you that is following us, that is attending this live session, if you want to ask questions, interact with us, with Temi, please send by the chat your questions, your ideas. You can send in Portuguese or in English, and we can hear use on our conversation. Okay, feel free to interact. And
Yeah.
Temi, we were talking about women in IT and the challenges we face. Could you tell us a little bit what were the challenges you have faced so far? How you handled them? How you did to surpass these things that we all always face on the not only for not only to study but also on the work. Could you share your challenges?
Ah, I faced a lot of challenges because I would say my journey wasn't a smooth one. But one major one that I had to tell myself and brace myself up and say that I won't let it happen anymore is imposter syndrome because that has actually crippled a lot of women from taking their position. Because imposter syndrome will just make you feel like, am I meant to be here? Am I supposed to be here? I don't think I deserve it. I deserve something lower than that. So, imposter syndrome is something that I fought against last year, and I thank God for scaling through that. And one way of me, a particular solution I actually deployed to overcome that imposter syndrome was to mentor other women. I'm giving out my secrets because the more you mentor other women and they also become like you know that you are doing the right thing. So that was what I did. Mentor other women to also grow. It doesn't matter how what you've helped them with. I'm not saying you should mentor them from stage A to Z, but help them, give them an helping hand, advise them, because we always have things to talk about. So imposter syndrome is something that I actually experienced in my career. That even when I'm like, okay, people want to hear from Temitọpẹ, I was like, do I need to talk about it when people are PhD, masters, and me, I'm just with just a degree. So I just said the imposter syndrome. Check it out. It's not there. It's just in your mind. It's fake. It's not real. You can get it out of your mind. You're amazing. You're awesome. In fact, nobody is like you.
It's a relief for me listening that you also faced the imposter syndrome, because I really admire your work, and you faced the same problem as me and many many people here. Laura Barros mentioned in the chat that she also she also identify
Wow.
herself with things you are talking about, and it's a really common thing among women in IT. Yet, I mean, have you seen the same among your colleagues as well?
Yeah, sometimes sometimes people face this problem and refuse to talk about it. It's not everybody that is as open as myself. But one thing I learned early is being open about problems I face and finding solutions. So in the part of me finding a solution, I discovered one which I just shared, that mentoring other women to be like you or even better than you is a faster way
Yeah.
of getting out of imposter syndrome. Because by the time you have someone like you, even doing better than you will know that, yeah, I'm on the right path. If I can mentor someone like this, then I'm doing the right thing. So that's my own solution for that. So I, I'm pushing it towards, I'm suggesting it to women out there. If you can mentor other women, let's make the world a better place. So you get out of that syndrome.
True. And how is to be a manager and a leader of many specialists and men very smart and experienced people? Temi, how is your experience managing these like very smart and prepared people, especially in AIML that are highly graduated and prepared people? How is to be the manager of this type of group?
That question is a very deep question because I wouldn't say I'm managing them because I'm still taking my baby steps into management. But I would say that, in fact, when people ask me, are you a manager? I tell them I don't want to be a manager. I want to be a leader because they are two different things. I don't want to be a manager because a leader is different from a manager, but a leader has a managerial skill, but a manager might not be a leader. So managing them, I just tuned off the manager part and increased the volume of my leadership skill. That okay, I want to be empathetic. I want to be concerned about them because one thing people don't know is when you are concerned about your foot soldiers, they will go out of their ways to do their job. You have to be concerned about them. You have to know that they also have feelings. What you are going through is also what they are also going through. It's just that just have that position and you're their boss. So I'll say that I won't use that word manager. Maybe if you say, how do you lead your team?
Nice.
If how do you lead
Nice.
your team? I'll have examples to that, or I will have skills to share. But when you say
Nice.
management, managing my team, it's all good.
This is great. This is great because when we take a look on women in leadership positions, in manager positions, we have a even lower rate of women. And it's really important to have representation on these roles that are on the spot, because it shows us how is possible and how we can like follow these steps. It is super nice to see you
Yeah.
there.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
And I was taking a look as well, Temi, on some statistics of Stack Overflow, the report of 2020, and it was interesting to see that, for example, on AIML space, we have a rate of women to one man. But if we take a look on, for example, SREs and more infrastructure roles, we have a even a worse rate of 1 man to 25 women. So for some reason in AIML is like one of the best rates among women and men. And it's something that I really see in practicing the environment, because usually the top three references I have in my mind for AIML are all women. So it's interesting to see how women has been successful in AIML. Yeah,
Okay. So,
we have some nice references.
okay, Claudia, I would say you're one example of people that have succeeded in AI/ML as well. Because when it came over, and I'm like, okay, she's the solution architect. Oh wow, I like to learn from her. So I'll just say that the ratio, maybe that statistics needs to be checked again, because we are having, like, let me speak for Africa, we are having more African women coming into, young women, even married, coming into the field of AI/ML. People are taking, as I said, people are beginning to plunge into that field. That field is just starting, absolutely, but still people are not still taking the back seat. Women are coming in, taking their role, fighting for words, teas, because you can't solve a problem for a woman if you're not a woman.
True.
It's just like maybe someone solving a problem, like this research paper that Joy came up with, and she was solving a particular algorithm problem for the black. You can't solve a problem for a particular demographic without being part of them. So if
Yeah.
you want to solve a problem for a woman, you still need women to actually have a say in those solutions. Except you just want it to just be tailored to a particular set of people, which is not what any company, any organization wants to do. They want to do a solution where everybody can use, not just for a
True.
particular gender, maybe for the male gender or for the female, or for white and the black folks. No, it's just or women of colors, or so. I just like that role of bringing in women, that gap will soon be sealed, because we will not still have, like, we won't have that distinction between it, like, okay, we have 10% women. That gap is gradually closing. We're having more women in that field. Women are beginning to be committed or coming into that field. In fact, I have one of my team members that she was like, Timmy, I want to come into AI. She has the skill of data science, but she wants to increase her skill. I'm like, girl, keep shining, go for it. That's why I said that we need women at the front seats, so that they can actually encourage other people behind them to say, okay, if my boss that is a woman can do this, then I can go for it too. So
True.
that gap is gradually closing.
True.
And with time, that statistic is going to change, Claudia.
Yeah, I hope. And a lot we have seen on AI/ML space about techniques and work to fight against bias on AI/ML algorithms, on AI/ML scenarios. Where, yes, we have seen companies creating solutions to measure gaps, to measure biases on the data set, on the training, on the results. And this is something interesting that you just mentioned, because if you are not part of one group, maybe you will not pay attention on this on your AI/ML use cases. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, because you can't solve a problem for a group that you do not know what they feel. In fact, one of the rules while going through a training with Udacity on product management is to avoid bias, make sure you have diverse team to collect the data. What do I mean by diverse team? If you're working on pictures, maybe you want to train picture that will be that's not going to be for a particular demographic, maybe for Africa. If you want to do it like image recognition for Africa, so you need data set from Africa. You can't expect a white man or someone in America to have the data set for Africa. So you need people in that region to actually function there. So we need to bring that into play, that okay, if you are collecting data sets to avoid bias, aside just building the solution, in fact, building the model is the easiest thing. It's the
True.
data that matters. Because once you have the
True.
model once, you just need to just keep getting the data. But if the data is biased, the model will be biased.
Yeah,
So if you
true.
have the data right, that's another skill for product AI product managers. You need to get your data sets correct. You have to reduce every form of bias, involve everyone in that demographic. Because in Africa, the weather is hot at the moment. You can't push in cardigans or sweaters at this moment to record for Amazon to recommend it to me. I won't buy. You understand? So you need
Yeah,
people of this
true.
demographic that can actually say that no, at this point, this is what you need, this is what you need to do. So that's just it. That's how the
I
first way
agree.
to stop bias. Yeah.
Super nice. And here we have a question from the audience, Temi.
Okay.
Laura Barros asked, how can we help being far away? Do you have more online events or sessions where we can collaborate and talk, mentor younger women? So how can we start being a mentor where we can find people asking this type of help or needing this help?
Okay. So I believe this person is talking about Africa, right? Hope you're not talking about Brazil.
Yeah,
Is the person talking about Africa? Okay. If you like to mentor young girls in Africa, you can reach out to me. I'll drop my email with Claudia because we have a lot of
perfect.
things coming up because of COVID actually messed up a lot of things. For me, I have a company in Techie Geeks whereby we actually train and mentor younger women and teenagers robotics. So you can actually come in and also encourage young girls to come into that field, not looking at like the gender gap and everything. So you can come in at this point. So I will share my email with, although Claudia has it, so you can ask her for that. So if you would like to come on board with that request that you just said or that suggestion, you're welcome. Thank you.
May I share your LinkedIn here in the chat, Tammy? May I share with them your
Okay.
LinkedIn?
Okay. Yes, please do.
I will share Temitọpẹ LinkedIn, and also Temitọpẹ has a channel on YouTube. Yes, Temi, can you talk a little bit about
Yeah.
your videos that are super nice?
Okay, my videos on YouTube. My channel is just about three major things: robotics, AI, and education. Because as you all know, I've talked about AI, I've touched a little bit about robotics, and I've touched about education, whereby mentoring people to be better citizens of each of our countries. So my YouTube channel is about these three things. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. Amazing things coming up. You will learn so far from our previous videos. You're gonna learn from our previous videos. You learn from because the video so far has been on computer vision, product management, AI product management, yeah, to be specific, and a little bit of maybe some unboxing thing like tech influencing things. So when you see the channel, I know you will love it. Just feel free to subscribe and watch them.
I just shared Temitọpẹ LinkedIn and also Temitọpẹ YouTube channel, and you can follow her nice videos. And you mentioned about TechieGeeks project. Yes, Temi, it's a nice way for those who maybe want to start mentoring and working. Yeah, is joining the project. How is the process to join your project?
Okay, once you get to my LinkedIn, you can actually send me a DM. Yeah, our website is down at the moment, so you can't access
Perfect.
that. Or you can send me a message on my LinkedIn, and I'll surely shoot it back, like send you a message or a
Perfect.
direct message back to you and tell you what our offers are, what we are presently offering. Even though we have it stalled at the moment because of COVID, COVID messed
Yeah,
up a lot of things. Yeah, it messed up
true,
a lot of our workshops and stuff like that. So you can
true.
just come on board. You just send me a message on LinkedIn. I will always reply.
Nice. And for those who want to be mentor in Brazil, we have the group, the FinTech, that is the group I'm part of. I will also drop the LinkedIn here in the chat. And some nice experience I've had is about group mentoring because usually I hear people saying, "Oh, I don't have a lot of time to do this type of work," and I've done some mentoring group. I take, for example, 4 or 5 people, and we work together. But because in the end of the day, I don't like that hierarchy of, oh, I'm your mentor, you are my mentee. When we are in group, everybody is mentor of everybody. So I've been more comfortable in mentoring in group instead of one-on-one for a while, and I've felt a lot of happiness and good results from this type of mentoring, because we can also identify some problems that everybody has. For example, the impostor syndrome that is very very common on our IT scenario. Yes. So one tip: if someone wants to join these mentoring groups, the FinTech will be very soon starting the groups of 2021.
Wow. And Claudia, another thing people don't know is that mentorship is not just from the head to the bottom, meaning that okay, because Claudia is the organizer of the event, of the meeting, she's going to mentor people beneath. No, it doesn't work that way. Mentorship is supposed to be bi-directional, because there are some things that the mentee has that the mentor can learn from, and there are some things that the mentor has that the mentee can learn from. So it's supposed to be bi-directional. In fact, if a relationship is not, if it's parasitic, before you know it, everybody will go their separate ways. But if it's something that we all benefit from each other, like, okay, oh Claudia, I would like to know, how did you survive this? Okay, that's how you survive. Oh, nice. Temitọpẹ, how did you survive this? I would say, ah, Claudia, this is how I survived this. So everybody will all be on the same pedestal, that we are all growing and nobody is behind. Because if you keep giving, you end up becoming empty. But as you
True.
give, if you get back, you always have a refill. So I don't want us to have that in the mindset that, okay, when I said mentorship, because mentorship, people believe that it should be from the head. It's
True.
not necessarily like that. It can be from the head, it can also be from the bottom. It should be bi-directional. So let's watch out for that. In fact, any mentee that I'm not benefiting or learning something from, I'm not saying I should learn something like maybe financial benefits, no, but there must be something that I'm getting from you. I can't keep pouring into the drum without filling my drum.
True.
I'll get empty one day in the drink.
True.
Yeah.
And we are almost reaching our end here of our conversation. Almost reaching. So if someone wants to send some question, comments, please do by the chat. And as the final part here, Temi, if we can share your thoughts, your final thoughts, your message, and maybe some materials or books or anything you want to share with us about women in IT area, AIML, anything you want. I really thank you.
Okay, one major book I read about women is Leaning. I don't know if anybody has read that book by Sheryl Sandberg. In fact, I'm reading it over again. I've read it before, I'm reading it again. The book is Leaning. I'll send the name to.
I think I found here is Sheryl Sandberg. Yeah, Leaning.
Yeah,
Is it
yes.
correct?
I read
Perfect.
that
I'm
book.
sharing here.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. So I read that book, and also I read a particular book about learning about the industries of the future by Alex Ross. I read that book as well. It touched a little bit about Africa in, I think, the third chapter or the second chapter, and I was like, wow! It talked about Ile-Ife. There's a state, Osun State is a state in Nigeria, the western part of Nigeria, West Africa, West Nigeria. Sorry, Nigeria is in West Africa. Osun is in west of the West Africa.
Got it.
Sorry. So it talked about that, about the development, the technology that is happening. In fact, that book came out a long time ago, and it mentioned a lot of things that are happening now. In fact, Whenever I think of that book, I think that guy wrote with a futuristic binoculars. Like he was being futuristic while writing that book. So I read that book, The Industries of the Future. Then another book I read is that helped me, but that is still helping me, is a book recommended by a friend, Lean Startup, the Lean Startup. So yeah, I'm still reading it. I've not finished it, but I think it should help anyone because I believe there are diverse group of people here. We have tech entrepreneurs, we have women, and so I'm just suggesting things I've read because when it comes to books, I love it. I love books, so I read that. Then I won't say the only tech books I've read. I also read this book that helps me know that okay, talent is never enough by John Maxwell. Because at that point, it made me see that sometimes you might have the skill, but if you are not strategic about what you're doing, there are a lot of people that know how to code, but nobody knows them. Talent is never enough. And this other book, the laws of power or something like that. No, not laws of power, laws of I can't remember right now. I read that book like 2, 3 years back, and it changed my mindset. So it's about being strategic. In fact, let me touch on that. Being strategic is about knowing where you are going and doing everything connected to where you're going. It's not just picking everything. Reduce the way you disperse your energy. If you are going into tech, stick to that part. If you are going into data science, don't look at people building mobile apps. It might take
True.
a while before people will know what they are doing. So you need to be strategic. Events you'll be attending must be for ML, AI. Yeah, everything you'll be doing, friends you should be talking to, people you collaborate with, you need to be strategic. So I learned that. Let me just share those 3 books. I think that's all.
I love this last tip because I struggled many years with my focus, and it's really important for you to understand your focus. I read a book called The Essentialism that really changed my life.
Wow.
People use it to recommend me some time management materials, books,
Wow.
and nothing worked. And I use it to think I'm like the major failure of time management of the world. It's not possible. And anything use it to work with me. And I was thinking, why time management practice never worked with me. And in fact, when
Wow.
I read the book Essentialism, I noticed that nothing would work because I was trying to do many different things at the same time. So I was trying to learn, as you said, machine learning, app development, and Scrum, and then many things more. And my problem was like previous than the time management was a matter of stop and think about which topics you want to dive deep, because otherwise you will be shallow of many things in many things. So this
Exactly.
book, the essentialist, showed me that I could be more smart and work smarter, not harder, and try to find like which topics I really love and which topics I really want to invest time in learning and diving deep. So I really like your
Mm-hmm.
tip about it, because if you
Exactly.
are like me, that time management is a challenge, is something difficult, maybe you have the same problem as me to find out what is your focus and which topics you can say yes and which topics you will say no, I don't want.
Yes, I'm going to look for that book. And I would like to add one more thing. As a woman, you need to learn how to say no.
True.
Because if you don't know how to say no, everybody will push things on you. You need to learn how to say no. It's a very, very difficult thing. In fact, I'm still mastering the act because people will just be like, she's changing. She's not like this. You need to learn how to say no. You need to know when you are getting to your breaking point. You need to know when you need to step back.
True.
Learn how to say no. You can't please everybody.
Yeah.
You can't please everybody. You can't. Learn how to say no.
Yeah. It's
When
super hard to learn how to say no. It's hard. But I
yeah,
really have to agree with you because we overburden ourselves when we don't have a criteria to say no. Yeah, if you have difficulties as me to say no for people, and you can create criterias, because if you have the criteria you can say for someone that is asking for something, oh no, thank you, I don't want to create a content about internet of things because it's not my focus. But if you want to do something about, for example, AIML, I will be happy to do because this is my focus. So if we have good answers, people will not be sad or bored with you because you said no. This was what I learned, and I was only able to understand how to say no when I found the subjects that I would invest and the subjects that I would just let
just be
let go.
yeah, yeah. And don't forget to be yourself.
Yeah, true. So, Temitọpẹ, I want to thank
Thank
you
you.
a million for being here with us. You were so friendly and generous, sharing your time with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Claudia. Thanks so much.
Final
Thank you.
words?
For women, I would say learn how to say no, learn how to be yourself, to overcome imposter syndrome, mentor other women. And you're amazing, you're awesome. Nobody's like you. Just do you.
True.
That's
True.
my final words.
True. And thank you for everybody that was with us here today. The video will be available on YouTube if you want to watch later. It will be available on the Fintech YouTube and on Temitop's YouTube as well. Thank you very much. Have an amazing weekend. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Love from
Bye
Nigeria.
bye. Have a
Bye.
wonderful day. Bye, Brazil. Bye, Nigeria.
Bye, Brazil. Adieu.
Hey,
um,
adeus.
yeah,
Adeus.
I'm gradually picking Portuguese and Spanish, un poquito. And now in Portuguese, it's un pouquinho, you know. The language
Correct.
is so nice. Thank you guys for having
Thank
me.
you so much. See you. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.